Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, we have been witnessing an assault on free speech at college campuses across the nation, kind of putting that warning sign out there of where is this thing headed. Well, now we have to be worried about the fact that tech giants are circumventing the Constitution and now aligning with foreign governments in order to tackle online hate speech. So this is a new initiative. The European Union has actually reached an agreement with some of the biggest social media firms like Facebook and Twitter, Yahoo, other tech giants, Google, Microsoft, and they have pledged to tackle online hate speech in less than 24 hours. It's part of a joint commitment to combat the use of social media by terrorists. So they're saying beyond even these national laws that will criminalize hate speech, there's a need to ensure that such activity by internet users is expeditiously reviewed by online intermediaries and social media platforms. Now, we thought that they were already doing this with Twitter. We saw that they had created their Trust and Safety Council. And of course, those groups, they're not just across the board looking for terrorists. They are going specifically after the groups that they dislike or that they disagree with, like a lot of conservatives out there, anyone who would dare speak out against the current feminist movement here. And so they've created a code of conduct. And this is, they're saying that, they're bringing it up as it's coming in the wake of the bloody attacks in Paris as well as in Brussels by Islamic State. But these aren't the groups that are being targeted. We see that they're working freely online. The groups who have been targeted are people who are speaking out against the refugee invasion there in Europe. And now let's take a little flashback to when Matt Drudge was here in studio, and he was very prescient with this warning.
And you had the Justice Stephen Breyer said we need to look at a global law now. Remember just recently
getting it lined up with it.
So they're getting ready for these decisions to come. You thought Obamacare was shocking. You thought some of these other decisions were shocking. Wait until these copyright laws work their way up and the Supreme Court decides you cannot have a website with news headlines linking across the board. Then that will end for me. Fine, I've had a hell of a run. It's 20 years next year, or 20 years about now. Hell of a run. I couldn't have gone any farther. I feel completely, I have gone as far out of the galaxy as I can on this. I still want to stay out here, but I've gone pretty damn far for what one individual can do in this culture. But I'm talking about the future. So I don't know why they've been successful in pushing everybody into these little ghettos of these Facebooks and these tweets and these Instagrams, these Instas. This is ghetto. This is ghetto. This is corporate. They're taking your energy. They're taking your energy and you're getting nothing in return. Nothing.
They're dumbing the language down. Twitter's designed to reduce the language directly out of 1984. It's ingsoc.
So Matt Drudge was here to say time to get out of these internet ghettos, because just like that, with just the flip of a switch, anything that you've built and created online can be taken away from you at someone else's discretion based on these arbitrary rules of what is or is not offensive. SiriusXM has just announced that Glenn Beck's show has been suspended over recent comments made by one of his guests, Brad Thor. As we've talked about last week, Brad Thor was on there saying, what patriot is going to take out a President Trump? Now, I can't imagine if someone had said that exact same thing about President Obama. Of course, they immediately would have come after them. Glenn Beck, he didn't stop and say, well, whoa, we mean politically take out, not, some patriot taking out the president. That's kind of a call to violence. Glenn Beck denies that, of course. But that's just one example of the kind of sweeping power that we are giving these tech giants. Radio, it's just something like 5 companies control it all. And so now we're trying to figure out what exactly constitutes offensive speech. Glenn Beck is out, but here we have a video of a 3-year-old girl who is saying we have to kill Donald Trump. So this is totally fine to train your kids up in this way.
We're gonna kill Donald Trump.
Oh, is that a fact?
Why are we gonna kill Donald Trump?
Because he's bad.
That's right.
We have to kill him.
Why is he bad?
Because he wants to take away from our family.
That's mean, huh?
Yeah.
Mean Donald Trump.
what are we gonna do then?
We're gonna kill it.
So we are completely screwed as a country if this is the kind of way that we are raising the next generation. As we can see in schools, they're already being trained to hate this country, hate what the West stands for, calling for something entirely new, something that they don't even entirely understand because they refuse to educate themselves on actual history and not just cherry-picked ideas of what worked and what didn't work many, many times, but will work this time around.
Get Brainforce at 25% off for a limited time at InfowarsLife.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brainforce.
One of the worst things with most energy products is it's not sustainable, right? You're gonna crash afterwards. And the cool thing about this is it's not just a bunch of energy compounds that are gonna fire your brain up to a higher RPM or whatever, which it does do. This is sustainable. This isn't going to spike and you're gonna collapse and you're gonna feel really bad afterwards. This has a bunch of different antioxidants and compounds and polyphenols.
Everybody's on these drugs to knock their brain out because the brain's so fried.
We're looking at the television screen for research purposes, whatever we're even doing, trying to learn something or staring at the computer all day, working, doing good, you're still damaging your brain.
You will find Brainforce and other game-changing products at InfowarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
Get Brainforce at 25% off for a limited time at InfowarsLife.com. And we thank you for your support.